In my experience with Asus smartphones, I've always felt that they were more follower than leader. Their devices usually end up like an amalgamation of what other smartphone makers do well, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, especially since they tend to improve upon the ideas that they integrate. But then they launched the ZenFone 6, and it was almost like Asus went, "F it, we're doing things our way now," and then quite literally flipped everybody off. The resulting device? Well, I have to say that the ZenFone 6 is one of the most interesting smartphones that the company has made in a long time. The ZenFone 6 has all the hallmarks of a proper Android flagship. It is powered by the best, a Snapdragon 855 processor that you can configure with up to 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of internal storage. Then Asus flips the flagship smartphone narrative by equipping their device with a massive 5000 mAh battery. Asus took one look at the tiny batteries you'd usually find on your flagship smartphones and went, "Get that shit out of here." I love it. I also like that Zen UI is now so close to stock Android. I love how simple and clean it is to navigate, and I hope this is the way that they plan to move forward with their Android skin. The phone felt really smooth when I was navigating around it, but really spending just a couple of minutes swiping around on a demo phone with practically nothing installed isn't really what I'd call a good benchmark. I will say that the ZenFone 6 looks really good though, especially in this two-tone twilight silver colorway. The glossy back and frame shimmer in the light, but not in a garish way, and I'm glad that they did away with the whole concentric circle design. That said, it doesn't feel quite as premium as the top shelf stuff does, but I think that has a lot to do with how light the device feels in the hand, which is surprising because of the massive battery. In any case, the eye candy continues when you flip to the front of the phone because that screen looks pretty darn good. The ZenFone 6 comes with a 6.4-inch Full HD Plus IPS panel with no notch, no punch hole, and really slim bezels. This gives the phone a 92% screen-to-body ratio, which means you get an awesome immersive viewing experience. It's also a flat display, so if you're tired of all the other smartphone makers curving their screens, then you'll like this. ZenFone 6 also packs a pair of stereo speakers despite having super slim bezels. Huawei, please take note because it should not be acceptable for an expensive flagship to not come with stereo speakers. So there is a lot to like with the ZenFone 6, but there is also one big question mark that will undoubtedly split the jury: the phone's flippin' dual camera. You see, the ZenFone 6 doesn't have a selfie camera. It has the one camera array, and it's the one at the back, consisting of a 48 megapixel Sony IMX586 sensor and a 13 megapixel ultra-wide shooter. But the trick here is that the main camera is motorized, so it can flip all the way to the front when you need to take a selfie. Now, I've heard people call this the reverse notch, but come on, that's so lame. The camera though isn't lame. It can actually do a whole bunch of interesting things. The way Asus has mounted this is closer to what we saw on the Oppo N3 rather than the more recent Galaxy A80. And it can do cool things like take a 180-degree panorama without needing you to move an inch. The module just goes and does it all for you. Asus also gave the motorized camera a motion tracking feature that will track a subject as it moves automatically. It is a little unreliable, so I'd say that it's more like a gimmick than an actually useful feature. But the best thing about this motorized flippity-dippity camera is the fact that you're always using your best camera, even for selfies. I can't tell you the amount of times I've been disappointed by a smartphone selfie camera after being so impressed with its main shooter. With the ZenFone 6, you're always using the main shooter, and it looks like it works because the DxOMark just crowned it Selfie King on their list. At the end of the day though, I know a lot of you will be worried about one thing: durability. And I get that, moving parts tend to break easier than parts that don't move. But while I can't really speak for its longevity, Asus did let us do this to their camera module. And the phone worked fine after. Plus, Asus has baked in a fall detection feature that will automatically retract the camera module if it detects that phone is in a free fall. But that's the most assurance I can give you, because beyond that, I simply can't tell at this point. What I will say though is that the ZenFone 6 is definitely one of the more interesting smartphones in the market, especially since it is also very affordable for the kind of specs it packs. In the US, for example, it starts at just $499 US, which is about 2,000 ringgit. I'm really glad that Asus went out of their way to build something a little more ludicrous rather than erring on the side of caution, because that's how the industry moves forward. However, I may also be the harbinger of bad news, because there might be a small chance that the ZenFone 6 won't be coming to Malaysia. Every time I ask the Asus Malaysia team about this phone, they've refused to comment on the matter, which to me doesn't sound very good. But maybe I'm wrong. Would you want the ZenFone 6 to come to Malaysia? Let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know what you think of the ZenFone 6. Do you think it's good, bad, avocado? You know, drop that in the comments below as well. But that's where I'm going to end this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, click on the notification bell icon, you know, all that good stuff. But for me, oh, wait, before I end this video though, I have to say that this thing, just not worth queuing for. And I've had them both, okay? I've had the Tiger Sugar one, and I've also had the Xing Fu Tang one. And this one, the Tiger Sugar one, has a bit more of like a brown sugar taste, while the other has a nicer milk taste to me. But honestly, they're just not worth queuing up for. They're okay, but if you're gonna spend half an hour queuing up for it, like, why would you ever do that? Like, oh, I cannot brain, it's not that nice, you know? Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.